Alright, take the energy way down. Welcome to Ben's OP Game Show, recorded live at 3 p.m. Pacific Time every Friday, right here, a little more subdued, twitch.tv/TheGameFanatics. On this week's show, I'm going to talk about all the awards, all the trailers, and all the nonsense that happened at the Game Awards last night. But also going to be reviewing Inside, which is much better than the award show, and almost as long, which is to say the Game Awards were too long. But first, let's take a look at some of my favorite stories of the week. Hold on. Things are happening. Okay, there we go. Now this week we finally got gameplay for Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, this has been a long time coming, and I've mentioned this before several times. Pre-E3, I talked about, oh, this is very exciting, we could be seeing something about it. We saw nothing. Then there was the PlayStation Pro event. We saw nothing. We saw walking. Great. I'm so glad you showed me pre-alpha footage of you walking around in a game. Fantastic. Then we get to N7 Day, and they show a story trailer, which, while being very good, was no gameplay. So we finally got gameplay for this stupid game. And I have to say, it looks really good, and it looks very Dragon Age Inquisition-y to me, which is something we kind of knew about. I think there was an interview a long time ago saying that there was a lot of things they learned, or they were just going to take from Inquisition and move into this. Very much strikes me as you're going to be landing on each of these planets in the same way you go to the different areas in Inquisition. Like, here's the hinterlands, I'm going to go there, I'm going to go to the forest place. Seems to be that's how it'll work. The game looks great. The combat looks fast. It definitely looks less of a Gears type of cover shooter, even though there was cover stuff going on. That all looks fine and dandy, but there's a few problems here. Namely the cutscenes, which just look really bad. I don't understand how their facial capture is 10 years behind. It seems like it's worse than Mass Effect ever was. Like, it's gotten worse. How did it not get better? Their lips are really weird and funky. The whole cutscene with that rebel leader of the gang chick played terribly to me. It's just really stupid. And I don't buy that if you're a mercenary and you're pointing a gun at someone and they take the gun, you were ready to shoot them. Why don't you attack them? It just seems very, very weird to me, but that's besides the point. Everything else looks great. But the voice, the lip syncing and all that, the mouths they're not even Uncanny Valley. They just are bad. The lip syncing is bad in what they showed. And also what they showed, I got a little screenshot of it. There's a point when they're showing the combat where these two mechs drop down, and then the player turns to this little observation deck, and there's a guy up there, and they warp up to the guy. Now, pictured is this guy. That is the guy that is warped up too. And it struck me odd the first time this happened when I watched it on the Game Awards, and then I didn't go back and watch the trailer until today. Again, I watched it again, and it immediately was like, yo, there's something wrong with this. So he warps up to this enemy. The enemy, there's like a flash, the damage effects of everything. The enemy doesn't do anything. The enemy stands there, and the player kind of walks around them and doesn't look that way anymore. And it seems intentionally does not look that way because this character doesn't die, doesn't appear to be like frozen in time, just stands there. Doesn't move, doesn't fall down, doesn't do anything, just stands there. And that's a little weird to me. And not that you would have a glitch like this, or that I'm reading too much into it saying, oh, the game's definitely going to be delayed now because this guy doesn't move. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, You made this trailer. There are cuts in this trailer all over the place. This isn't 5 minutes of straight gameplay. This is, we cut here, we cut there, let's show you some Mako stuff. It's not called that anymore, but whatever. And let's show you some aliens, let's show you a cutscene, let's show you some combat. Now you're fighting guys, now you're fighting robots, now you're fighting monsters. Here's some crafting, here's some investigation. It's all cuts. And they left this part in where a guy just doesn't even do anything. He just stands there. It's broken. This is a glitch. This is a problem in the game. And that made it to the final cut of the trailer. Why didn't you re-record the footage where it worked? Something's very strange about this whole thing. Not to mention there's a part in it where they show the inventory and it's like, oh, you can equip different stuff. And it's like, here's your chest armor. Here's your whatever. And it very quickly goes to another screen and then abruptly cuts where you can't even see anything. Well, who's editing this trailer? You would just get rid of that. I don't need to see a screen for literally a quarter of a second and then it disappears. It seems like you're hiding something. It seems suspicious. And that's the point. That is the problem with this. Two problems. The editing on this trailer is bad. It's kind of all over the place. It's trying to show you so much, and yet what it shows you isn't that amazing. I think the footage of the city looks like it runs poorly. That's great. This is a great thing from a game coming out in 4 months. I don't buy it for a second. You leave in things like this guy not moving after he's being hit. Poor editing. This is your big thing. This is your big fucking thing that should have been at E3, and you're just now showing it to us? And somehow, you still expect me to believe spring. Didn't even have the balls to give a release date. That's insane. There's no way this is happening. How could this be happening in spring? That's 4 months away. At most. At most, it's 4 months away. And you still have no idea what you're doing. Point two of what's a problem with this and why the delay I've been saying will happen since June, when they didn't show anything at E3, is that it's not cohesive gameplay. You look back, again, I'm repeating myself from an earlier video, you look back at Inquisition, and they showed 15 minutes of gameplay. What we have here is 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, all stitched together, and not stitched together very well in certain instances. So I don't buy it. What I want to see from this game, they don't want to spoil anything. They don't want to spoil anything. You don't have to fucking spoil anything, okay? All you gotta do is show me landing, getting off the ship, going through that town, and talking to that lady, then getting in the car, and driving and fighting a couple things. All stuff that was in that trailer, but it was cut and edited. And I don't buy it. Look at what they showed for Horizon Zero Dawn. Not they, obviously, it's Sony. At E3. Full gameplay of you leaving the town, running around, having an NPC interaction, then going and talking to some other people. And that game was 8 months out at that point. If not, yeah, 8 months out at that point. And this game is 4 or fewer months out, and they can't even stitch together a trailer. Now, complaints aside, I like what I'm seeing here. I'd like to actually see some stuff, because what they're doing is unprecedented. It's almost as suspicious as what's been going on with Resident Evil 7. Now, I'm a big fan of Resident Evil. Here's a little shot of the room. Big fan of Resident Evil. I love all the Resident Evil games, except for Code Veronica is just mean to me. I don't like it. I'll defend 6. I like 6. That sounds weird. But, you know, 4 is amazing. 2, 1. I like 3 a lot, too. 0 is really good as well. They're all good games. I love Resident Evil. Revelations, 2 phenomenal games. Phenomenal might be a little hyperbole. But I've been worried about 7 because while they've shown kind of gameplay with that demo, there's no gameplay in that demo. It's just this weird PT-esque setup thing that I don't quite understand or want the game to be. But what they did this week, strangely, this week of all times, but the game's coming out in 2 months, or 1 month, really, month and a half, finally showed some actual gameplay for the game. And I guess because we had that demo, I kind of forgot about, they never really showed the game actually being played for any extended period of time. So we have a ton of new footage of Resident Evil 7. And while I have been very critical of that demo, which I think is still terrible, this looks really good. I think it's trying a little too hard with some of the jump scare stuff. It's a little too much nemesis-y for me, where there's this guy constantly chasing you during different parts of the mansion, but that's fine. I like what I'm seeing here. I like the idea of it. It's incredible. The best part about it to me, a picture of a knife, that's fun for me. The best part about it to me is the idea that it's in first person, and you can, now that we have the visual fidelity, we can look at things in this crazy mansion, like the Resident Evil 1 mansion, and really look at them, and really look at them close up, and like, what is the detail on here? Like, turn things around, and actually being in the environment is incredible. I love that. That's a perfect use. That's not, they didn't just change it to first person because like, oh, let's make it VR, let's just fuck around. There's a reason to it. There's like a calculated idea there of, oh, you can look around the environment, you're stuck in this environment, and it really does add to the horror aspect of it. So that's awesome. That's awesome. A little bit worried about constantly being hunted though. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of, there's a couple other things. These jump scares. While there was something about a Resident Evil game that you kind of knew you were safe at certain points. And I haven't heard, are you safe at any point? Because it is the lulls that make the heightened scary moments scarier. So, are you safe? In safe rooms? Maybe. I don't know. And at this point, I don't really want to know anymore. I also kind of think this will get delayed too. It just doesn't make sense, but it's been in development for a long time, and they seem very confident about it. Here's the thing too. How long have we had the Resident Evil release date? How long have we had the Resident Evil Special Edition pre-order garbage? Compare that to Mass Effect, which technically has neither. So that's why I'm worried about Mass Effect not hitting its date, and a little more confident about Resident Evil. It's also an extremely good time for Resident Evil to be coming out. January 26th, I think? It's right before my birthday, so thanks, Resident Evil. I hope this is good. I'd love to try the VR with it. I think VR for horror is an incredible idea, and I think it would add a lot to a game like this. Remains to be seen. I'm just glad to finally have minutes of uninterrupted gameplay. Cough, cough, Mass Effect. I know, the scope is very different. One, you're in a house. It's a big house, but it's a house. And the other one, you're in space. But come on. I think you can do a little better than that, BioWare. I think you can do just a smidge better. And with that, let's get into the topics of the week. Boop. Goodbye, scary lady. Goodbye. Sonic's good shit. Here we have arrived at the Game Awards. Now, before I discuss the actual show itself, because I can hardly believe I watched that. Now, let's talk about that first, just a second. I would like, just once, for someone not to lie to me about time, or about anything like that. Oh, we're gonna start at 6, right at 6 o'clock. Okay, but we're gonna have a 15-minute pre-show that kind of is the show, but isn't the show, but really is the show, but you think it's just the pre-show, but the whole show ends up being kind of weird and pre-showy like that. That's 15 minutes before. I think we started on time. I don't know. The countdown clock disappeared. Who the hell knows? And then it's going to be 2 hours. Okay, thanks, Jeff. 2 hours. It was like 2 hours and 15, 20 minutes. So, and I know things go long. But did we really need 3 musical performances? 3? Did we need 3? And I love Doom. And the hip-hop and whatever was fine. But did we really need it? Did we really need 3 musical guests? And really weirdly, too, like the first musical guest was 5 minutes into the show. Oh, here's an award. Let's play some music, I guess. And then they played 2 songs. I thought that was strange. I don't... The other people didn't play... I mean, Doom was like a medley. But this is beside the point. Beside the point. Well, let's look at the awards first. Okay. No. Zoom out. Okay. Game of the Year, Overwatch. Fine, whatever. Do whatever you gotta do. Game Direction, Overwatch. Fine, again, whatever. Best Narrative. I'm just very happy it wasn't Firewatch, because that is a broken pile of nonsense, because no one who has a dead person that may or may not be their fault chooses to not hide the body, but stay and make sure no one finds the body. Baffling. Baffling to me. Best Art Direction, Inside. Now, I did play Inside this week. I'm fine with that. It's very good art direction. I don't know best. It's very good though. Music sound, Doom. This is when we start getting into the weird inner workings of what's happening here. Oh, the best music sound design went to Doom. And we just so happened to have music from Doom as a musical guest. That doesn't seem suspicious at all. Does it? Does it? Now, best performance, Nathan Drake, Nolan North. This is another suspicious award because there's a lot of Uncharted here. Games are Impact Dragon, that Dragon Cancer. Good speech. Too sad. I'm not gonna play that game. Too sad. I can't. Best independent game, Inside. It is really good, and compared to Firewatch, to The Witness, that's a tough category. Inside's really good though. Best mobile, Pokemon Go, fuck away. Action game, Doom. Again, Doom. Some weirdness going on. There was a lot of ads. We'll get to the ads too. Best VR is Res Infinite, which I find preposterous because, as someone mentioned on Twitter, the game's 10 years old effectively now, and has 1 new level. I think you could have picked any of these other things, really. Best RPG, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt winning this is a little strange to me. It's DLC for one. All the other games are new and full games. I don't care how big Blood and Wine is. It's not best DLC, but it is best RPG, and it doesn't differentiate. So it's just strange to me. Oh, best action adventure, Dishonored 2. Good for them. Street Fighter, Civ 6. I knew that was gonna win. Forza, everyone loves that game. Overwatch, really cleaned up here. Most anticipated game, Breath of the Wild. We'll get to that in a minute too. Boogie won. Great job. No one won a fan creation because they created some controversy, and that's it. I know I'm gonna put up the trailer for Death Stranding here while I talk about a few things. So the problem with a lot of this, award show, is it was such a garbled mess. It started off so well. So it did. It started off with a nice speech. We're gonna give Hideo Kojima accolades for what was it? Person of the Forever, Lifetime Achievement Award. That's Person of the Forever, and that's great. And he talked, and that was cool. And then we get this trailer for Death Stranding, which looks great, and I'm super excited for Death Stranding. We'll talk about that for a minute too. What I love about Death Stranding here in this trailer is that it makes no goddamn sense. And that's the same thing I loved about Metal Gear Solid and all the trailers we got for that. Except for in Metal Gear Solid, you're watching and going like, oh, okay, that's Ocelot. But is that Liquid Ocelot? Or is this the guy? And like, okay, the Patriots are this, and if that's who I think it is, and is that character? And there's all these like little pieces that as you play the games, you learn these little clues, and you're able to connect it all together. We don't have any of that information. We're starting from ground one, which isn't a thing, and piecing this all together as it's happening, and that's really cool to me. Seeing like, what does this fetus mean? We don't know, but after you play this game, you'll be able to watch this trailer, hopefully, watch this trailer and be like, oh, that's what all this is talking about. Like, it all makes sense, and that's super awesome to me. I'm a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid. specifically 3 and 1 and 4 and 2 and 5. Not in that order. And what I love about it is the lore and all those weird pieces that connect together, and having a new lore set that's just as convoluted and strange and just really batshit strange. It's crazy. Having a new set of rules like that is incredible. I love that. Now, this game's coming out in like 3 years, sure. But damn, if it ain't pretty and if it isn't cool. Because it's fucking cool. It's really cool. So that, let me say cool another time. That's a great way to start the show, right? Let's close that. That's a great way to start the show. Okay, we get some Rocket League shit. Bulletstorm Remaster, which we already knew about, so I don't even know what the fuck why that was there. Then we get Guardians of the Galaxy, which we already knew had leaked out, and they show us literally a title card. And it was at this point that you kind of start to realize things aren't going so hot at the Game Awards, in my opinion. I think around this time was the first Schick Razor skit of the day. We got the AMD sucks, boo, AMD. We got the AMD Gaming Lounge. Then there's commercials, but there's no commercials in this, so it's just trailers for a bunch of EA games and Blizzard games, Hearthstone primarily, and Battlefield and Titanfall. Very odd to me, like, oh, here's the game, and then, oh, and you can buy all these games on sale right now on the PlayStation Store. The best place for buying games. You can't wait to see what's in store. I'm like, alright, and that wasn't ham-fisted at all, but by all means, make it your own show. It just seemed half of this was an ad, a quarter of it was musical guests, an eighth of it was awards, and another eighth was disappointing or really good trailers. And I can't help but feel like this is a huge step back. I'd almost like to go and watch last year's and see just, was it better? It feels like it was better. It feels like this is way gone over the deep end. Like, we needed more money, so let's get Shtick Hydro Drell Man to, like, who is that for? I'm not gonna buy one of those because I saw that commercial. Who buys anything because of the commercial anyway? But so strange. It's so fucking strange. Move on. Nolan North, that was good. Had some interesting things to say about the voice actor strike, which I really am just kind of in the middle on. I don't know. It's not my. I think both sides have good points, as is usually the case. The middle road is the road we probably should take, not the extremes on either side. Got that Dragon Cancer, which I already mentioned, was too sad. Oh, here we go. Spectre Knight. Oh, no, this isn't in Polygon's thing. Let's talk about fucking Prey. Because they also released, with Game Informer there on the cover, they released a 9-minute gameplay trailer today, which again, Mass Effect Andromeda, uninterrupted gameplay for most of that, where you got to see the gameplay. And they talked over it. And it wasn't little sizzle reel shit. It makes me believe this game actually could come out in early 2017. But maybe not for Prey. But regardless, it looks like BioShock in space. And I fucking love it. It's incredible. Especially the new trailer, not this one. But, whoop. The new trailer, it's not even really a trailer, it's just a 9-minute gameplay video of Prey. And it looks pretty damn great. My only complaint about it is I think they went a little overboard with the health bars on the screen for enemies. But whatever. That's a stupid thing to complain about. It looks so BioShocky. Or Dead Space too, because of, you're in space fighting these weird little head crab looking things. I know that's not Dead Space. It looks phenomenal. Basically what you see in this trailer, there's so many minutes of it in what they just showed on Game Informer. Hands down, looks great. We got the wheels, you can turn into things, you could combine the powers at one point in that video, not this one, but the other one. he turns into this little ball, goes over somewhere, then uses the force push bomb power to propel himself as a little pellet up to the second story of this thing. Really cool stuff. Super smart. It looks like fucking BioShock. How many times do I have to say that? It looks like BioShock, and that's awesome. BioShock in space. Incredible. Incredible. Prey looks amazing. I love it. I love Prey. This is how you do a reveal. Like, you don't shit the bed for 2 E3s in a row. Mass Effect. Maybe that's what you do. You don't do that. It's unbelievable. No, I don't. The world's largest. Stop. Who would want to watch that? The world's largest fish market. Get out of here. Then we move on. The other big reveal thing to me was this Shovel Knight DLC. I loved Shovel Knight. The Plague Knight DLC I played a little bit of, but it was weird. There was something off about it, and I wasn't very. Oh, that's what it was. It's like the way you jump was really strange. I forget why though. But this looks awesome. I love the dashing ability in air. We can kind of cut things, and you do another jump through them. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. A Shovel Knight was incredible. This looks incredible. Very excited for it. But notice, these are all real positives. And we're about to start going into negative territory. Because you have to remember, too, these are all intermixed with Chic Hydro ads. And, oh, the best place to play on the PlayStation is the store. Buy some things. You'll know what's in store. On sale now, PlayStation. It was just a little much. It was almost insulting. In a way of like, I know these are ads, but you're playing them off not as ads, but you're not because they're clearly not ads, or they clearly are ads. So what do you? There's a disconnect here somewhere. Ah, yes. Then we got Breath of the Wild. Now this is the trailer. They had 2 things to show. This trailer and the what the fuck else? Oh, the little gameplay video they did, which I liked the gameplay video and I liked this trailer. I like the gameplay video a lot. I don't need to see any more of this game after all, like the 6 hours of footage from E3. I don't need to see any more of this game, but good lord, it looks incredible. It really does. I mean, at this point, I'm only waiting for them to say the Switch version is better because of X, Y, and Z. And knowing which version I'm going to get. Like, that's all I want to know. I just want to know. Because I still don't buy it. I still don't buy that the Switch version will run better. Because it's handheld. I don't buy it. But I'd love to be wrong because I'd like the game to look as good as possible. Release it on PC, please. Please, come on. No? Okay. Fine. Fine. The game looks great. They really outdone themselves. This is another game that's been in development forever. Because you have to understand, too, like Final Fantasy 15, when was this announced? 2012? And we knew it, like the last Zelda we got was Skyward Sword, and that was 2011, 2010? It's been a long ass time, and they've really changed the game and made it back to what it used to be. Love it. Love it. Love it. But even that video with them playing the game was a little awkward. Everything was just a little awkward. It wasn't quite confident in itself. We got Halo Wars 2. I don't know, but I think it went on for like about 7 minutes. I didn't really care. And then we got Mass Effect Andromeda, which I already talked about in the first segment of the show. It's oddly edited, and I do not buy that it's going to hit its release date because it doesn't even have one. And I think it's smart not to say that it's delayed until later. I would say we hear about a delay in January or February, early February. I don't see how it doesn't happen. Now, technically, you could argue it's not being delayed because it doesn't have a release date. Fine, the rumored release date's in March. It will release in March. There, fine. Fine. Then we get The Walking Dead Season 3. Now, let's just go back and watch Zelda again while I talk about The Walking Dead. The first episode, here's what they said. The first episode's too big for one episode, so we made it a 2-parter. So they're releasing episodes 1 and 2 at the same time. But why are they still episodes 1 and 2? I'm still not clear as to why that isn't just one long episode, right? I feel like I'm really missing something with that, but whatever. If that makes sense to you in any way, oh, we got 2 episodes here, but it's one episode, but we broke it up into 2, and it's episodes 1 and 2, but they're part 1 and 2 of the same. All of them are part. The whole fucking season is part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I don't know what you're talking about. And if you were alluding to the fact that there's like a cliffhanger at the end of part 1, they all have cliffhangers at the end of them. So what are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense to me. So have fun with that. I still never played season 2. I played the first episode, and then I was like, I don't want to wait for this to come out, and then I never went back. And maybe season 3 is the time to get Clementine to time. I don't know. They just fix your fucking engine. Talk about lip syncing that's bad. You guys gotta get a new engine, man. Get some new stuff going on with this Walking Dead game. Really, really does not look that great. From just a presentation, cinematically. That's a word. And then the Game Awards YouTube archive gets muted. I think it's back now, but the Game Awards was 2 hours 15 minutes. It really, for what was actually shown there, the trailers and the awards, an hour of that was the actual like meat that you wanted off that bone. The 3 musical performances didn't really need to happen. I guess last year there were 2. I don't think we need 3. I don't even think we need 2. I think we really could have just had 1. I don't think the first musical performance needed to be 2 songs as well. It doesn't. I don't understand why. It wasn't really about the awards. It was barely about the awards. It felt like there was no pomp and circumstance. I feel like maybe it wasn't this award show last year, but there was some award show for games that like it would keep going. Like, here's one of the nominees for Game of the Year, and it would show you like a little minute clip about them. But the awards were a backseat. Like when Inside won for Best Art Direction, there was a little blurb like, Inside also won for Best Indie Game. I would have rather been up on stage for winning Best Indie Game than winning art. Like, why didn't you announce that category? Best Art Direction? No, Best Indie Game is much more interesting, I feel. But why didn't the presenters have that information? And they go like, oh, they're winning, and the winner for Best Art Direction and Best Indie Game, like, instead of just a voiceover, like this ghost voice, like, hey guys, Best Indie Game was also Inside. Alright, now back to the show. It's so strange. I can't help but wonder who this show is for at a certain point, because I don't think it was for me. It really was. It wasn't that it was boring. It was just that it was so long. This could have been distilled down, and I feel like I wasted time watching it, really. I just watched the trailers later, and that was more than enough, you know? Like, oh, let me watch the Zelda trailers, the Mass Effect trailer, and this other shit, because the world reveals weren't that exciting. It wasn't that, like, this is a real step backwards into nonsense. A whole lot of nonsense. And that's the Game Awards. Or, as I have in my little thing here, which you probably can't read, the Lame Awards. I'm good joke person. Do a little pose. It's fun. Everyone have fun. And try to have more fun than the Game Awards had, because that was... And you could tell, there was no one in the sheets. There was no one in the sheets. Why were there sheets there? There was no one in the seats. It was really strange. Like, I would have... I don't know. I also don't see the need for it to be a live show in front of a bunch of people. At least not that many people. Like, what theater? It was the Microsoft theater that used to be the Nokia theater? The one in LA Live. Which is where Nintendo used to do their press conferences, which is a big theater. That's where they have... Video Games Live was there 1 year, or probably multiple years, but it was there. Like, it's a big venue, hundreds of people, maybe 1,000. No, No, that doesn't seem right. But at least 500 people. And then is there a second upper deck? I don't know. A lot of people. But what I'm saying is too many. You don't need that many people. Because clearly, you couldn't get that many people. There was no one fucking in the seats. How'd you do that? LA is one of the biggest cities in the world, and you somehow couldn't fill the seats with free ticket. Like, what? What, were people from the street not allowed in? Or what? What's the story here? Because it just looked really sad. And as is the case with all of these video game events, gamers aren't the ones that are like, woo! Jumping up and down, all excited. When a rapper is like, make some noise, you know, we're the people going like, yay. We're not the rowdy crowd. So to have like a rowdy thing happening and then it cuts to a bunch of people like, yeah. Oh, it really just makes you look dumb. Everyone involved. Get a smaller venue, make it more intimate, get rid of the musical guests, limit it to 1 or 2 max, make them very game focused. Like the Watch Dogs 2, the first one was from like Watch Dogs 2, I think. Or was that the second one? It doesn't matter. I think they were all game related, but make sure they're both very palpably game related, like the Doom thing. Cut out a lot of this bullshit, the shtick man. You could have done half the show, spent less money because you don't have to, you know, organize as much show. You don't need the shtick hydro pro gel lube strip or whatever. And then you can just make a better show because that's not a bunch of nonsense. I don't know. It's weird. I think it's weird. And I don't know. I don't even really want to watch the next one. But I probably will. That is pitch perfect Mario. This is how things have to be done. Now let's talk about Inside. Because it just won Indie Game of the Year, some of the Game Awards, and Best Art Direction. You can't see a lot of the art direction in the game because they choose to make it so goddamn dark that eventually I changed the brightness up a little bit so that I could see. That being said, and speaking of the visuals, the game is beautiful. It does have incredible style to it. The animation, phenomenal, especially some of the later stuff, is just beautiful. That's great. Best Indie Game of the Year for the Game Awards, I don't know. It was up against The Witness, which I loved, and I would say that that's a tough choice for me right now. I just finished Inside, so it's too early to say, but Inside's great. Now, why is that so important coming from me? Well, because Limbo is a flaming pile of shit. Limbo is not a good game. It is nuggets and pieces of a really excellent puzzle action jumpy game, marred by very terrible just design decisions from checkpoint placement. And I mean, not even like it needed more checkpoints. Literally where you were placed for some of the checkpoints in Limbo is bafflingly terrible. I don't understand how some of Limbo is so well designed and crafted, and then some of it, most of it, is horribly crafted. Horribly done. The puzzles that are just not fun to solve, not interesting. You'll see solutions in Limbo where you're like, I think this is the solution, but I didn't have enough time, so I guess that must not be it. But that is the solution. Oh, well, thanks, game. I also think it really needs a hint system. If I've been standing there for 2 minutes on the same puzzle, maybe you should give me a hint. Even if it's not like words on the screen, but just like a little glowing thing or something. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying solve the puzzle for me or anything. That's neither here nor there. Because Inside, barring a few moments, has none of those problems. and it is phenomenal. Largely. There, midway through, I think it kind of hits a weird point when you go underwater. There's a lot of game a surprising amount of the game is underwater, or around water, I should say. There's a couple points there that I think are just annoying for no reason, when the rest of it is so well thought out and designed. That being said, this is exactly what I'd hope to see from Limbo going to Inside, is a level up of sorts of their skills. It is exactly what they were trying to do, I feel like, with Limbo, and didn't succeed, in my opinion. This is what it should have been. This is a finely tuned adventure platforming puzzle game that is just a joy to play for the majority of it. It doesn't have the annoying problems that I was really bothered about with Limbo. And so much of this is seeing the environment, going like, what's going on, and thinking and seeing and learning and really interacting with it in such a way that, and I don't want to spoil anything. That's the problem with it. It is only like 4 hours long to get everything and to get the secret ending and whatever. But the ride is incredible. So many, especially at the beginning and the end, there were so many points in this. I was like, oh, I remember that puzzle. Like, holy shit, there's this part in the middle that is so fucking cool. I was blown away by what it was, and I wish it had lasted 30 more minutes. Like, I would have done those puzzles for another 30 minutes. I guess I could just replay the same part, but man, was it good. Man, was that so cool. And some of these other, this is a surprise. I mean, this might be a tiny spoiler. This is the best Pikmin game of the year, because there were no other Pikmin games, but there's Pikmin stuff in this, kind of, where you're leading Pikmin. We're just going to call them Pikmin. Where you're leading them around and like places they need to be on the Switch, so I need to get more Pikmin. So you do that. That's incredible. I fucking love Pikmin. The puzzle design is so much better this time around, and a lot of the puzzles that maybe would be annoying or frustrating are relegated to optional stuff. So finding the collectibles. I will bring up Limbo again. I beat Limbo. I've beaten Limbo twice. I beat it again this summer to see if I changed my mind on it. No, still hate it. Overall. At no point during Limbo or after I beat Limbo first or second time did I want to go back and find the collectibles. But Inside, I beat and immediately went back to find the remaining collectibles. I think I found about half of them on my first playthrough. And I went back, I was like, some of the best puzzles and the most interesting things was finding the secrets, like figuring out how to get to them. And then there's like a little puzzle you have to solve while you're in there. It's so smartly done in that respect. And seeing, not to take it in spoilers, the alternate ending. Well, that's actually no spoilers, but I will say there's a lot of talk about the ending of this game, and about a lot of people are upset about it or don't like it or whatever. And I initially really didn't like it. It kind of just abruptly ends. You expect it to go somewhere, like it's ramping up to something, and then it just like and I'm sitting there watching it going, oh, this is going to go to the credits, isn't it? We're ending right here. And then 30 seconds later, like seriously, you could have just started the credits sooner. 30 seconds later, the credits finally pop up, and that's the end. And I'm left thinking, okay, what did any of it really all mean? There's a lot of questions still up in the air with what even was happening at any respect. But then I got all the collectibles, and I saw the secret ending. And maybe it's not the canon ending, but what's happening in that ending is still happening concurrently with what would have been the normal ending, so there's some kind of interesting thoughts going on with that. That ending, and all 20 seconds of it, is awesome, and I think redeems it. It gives it an extra layer. It gives the whole game an extra layer of, let me think about that. I don't know what inside means still, if you're trying to get out from the inside or something. Like, I don't understand what it's not as cut and dry as Limbo of like, you're in Limbo for some reason because we called it Limbo. So I don't know what you're inside. I don't really care. There's a lot of stuff going on that you can just kind of see. There's some stuff at the beginning where they're putting people into a car. So clearly they're rounding people up and doing some kind of funky experiments on them. And I think I don't need to know more about that. I don't need to know more about what the ending specific blob thing means. I don't really need to know more about that. At the end of the day, especially with the secret ending, it's kind of nice to have all these weird little ideas floating, like just percolating, just floating about. And this game is really fucking dark. It's to a detriment of its beautiful art. But it has a nice set of things to think about. Like, well, why were they doing that? Well, they were experimenting with this. What does that mean? What does this mean? Like Jack Skellington, a little bit. And while the ending does peter out in a way that I feel is, and maybe is intentionally so, dissatisfying, like just bluntly not satisfying, like it's a great ending, and then the actual literal last thing you do is just like, oh, I thought we were okay, well, fine. It's just a bit of a not a tease, but it just doesn't quite get there. But the rest of it, and thinking about what had happened, and thinking, like, I actually kind of wouldn't mind replaying it. It was very fun to play. The puzzles, by and large, I wasn't stuck on any one of them for too long, I don't think. There were a lot of really smart ones. It has such a great pace, too, with it, where you're not stuck for too long, or doing the same thing for too long, almost to its detriment. It's the same thing I complain about with Super Meat Boy. There's some phenomenal bits of design in Super Meat Boy, but they're there for 2 levels and they never come back. I'm like, man, I would have loved to see more of that, and that's what Inside kind of does. A lot of this game, you're running from dogs, and or you're being an idiot like me and swimming for no reason for hours at a time. You're running from dogs, and I would have been totally fine with, running from more of these dogs. Or there's a super awesome thing that I was saying happens in the middle. I would have been fine doing that for another hour. The underwater stuff was the only stuff that I feel like they did a lot of, and that was almost too much. They did a lot of that, and I would have preferred some more stuff. Oh, and there's some other incredible stuff that happens. It's very smart. Very, very, very smart. And they took exactly the good ideas from Limbo, got rid of 80% of the rest of it, and made something super interesting and much more compelling than, oh, I'm in Limbo and then we got black and white art style. There's actually something going on here that's more than just those gimmicky ideas of it being black and white and you're in Limbo. It's a great game. I think it deserves its award. It's definitely one of my favorite games of the year. I definitely wouldn't say it's my favorite. This year for me has been nothing sticks out as like my favorite game of the year, so I don't know. I think I'd probably, I might put The Witness above it. I love The Witness. I really do. I hate some of The Witness, but overall I love it. I have to think about it more. As the year closes and Game of the Year stuff happens, that's what I start thinking about. It's fun to rank things. Some people don't like to rank it. Oh, I don't want to make a list. I'm too hoity-toity pretentious to make a list of my top fun video game things. Alright, fine, but I do like making lists because I like fucking thinking about things, and do I like this more, do I like that more, and why? That's, I don't know, critical thought, Mr. Pretentious. You would like that because you're pretentious. The game is great. It's really good. I'm very glad it's good too, because as I said, I do not like Limbo. I wish I could return Limbo, like even for free. Like just get it out of my Steam library. I don't want this. I don't want to see it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't want it. And why did I play Inside? Because of specific things that people said, like, oh, I didn't like Limbo that much. They liked it more than I did, but they liked Inside more. And there's a lot of people saying, like, this is my game of the year. I have to play that. I have to experience a game like that everyone's so crazy about, just so I have to know, is it just me who doesn't like Limbo? But Inside, I mean, what a journey. It has such a good feel for the journey. It takes its time and has a lot of just like this, just running around and seeing the world, environmental storytelling that Limbo, I feel like, didn't have at all. Half of Limbo is fighting a spider, and that's like the most interesting thing that happens for the first half of the game. I don't know. And these are, I thought what I think they were. Chickens? No, I thought they were something else. Birds? I thought they were something that they weren't. Chicken birds? Is that a thing? I don't know. I would have loved to have more. That's the thing. I would have loved to just have more, not more puzzles, just more jumping and platforming around. It's a fun game to play. They made the animation and the jumping and not as frustrating or as slow and mechanical as it was. And they added these cute little chickens. They are chickens, right? What did I think they were? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I thought they were. I don't know. I'm gonna move my little screen over. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Look at the little cute little chickens. I thought they were gonna get murdered here. I was really sad. I was really sad with the chickens. Okay. That's the show. Every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, twitch.tv/thegamefanatics. I do this show. I stream on my Momonomino on my own channel. Twitch.tv/BenReacts. Saturday, Sunday are going to be Mario Maker, and then Wednesday, during the day stream, I'm thinking about doing, like, platinum runs of stuff. Kind of a backlog thing, but also fun, challenging things. Like, I'm going to do Uncharted 4 on Crushing. See when I give up, which is probably Chapter 8. About Chapter 8, yep. Happy Easter. Chickens. What did I think they were? I didn't think they were chickens at first. I thought they were like rats, maybe? I don't know what they were. I don't know what I thought they were. Rat chickens? Is that a thing? I didn't think they were chickens. They're making weird squawky noises now. This is one of the first puzzles where I was like, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do. Great game. Happy birthday. See you on the flippity flip. The Office.